Good afternoon and welcome to I Be There, our weekly live stream in which we connect the digital advertising ecosystem. I'm Angelina Eng at IAB. In today's session, which is titled Data Consent and the Customer Value Exchange, we'll be discussing consent, identity, evolving beyond third-party cookies, and how to build a trusted value exchange with consumers. And with that said, today we're excited to welcome to the show Kevin Witcher, Vice President Enterprise Apps at Disco. Kevin is a change agent at the intersection of data, analytics, and marketing, known for driving tech innovation in the measurement of identity and ad performance. Kevin leads the strategic vision for client solutions, leveraging Disco's people-first audience insights platform and complete view of consumer journey across all digital environments. Kevin is scaling Disco's product team to a world-class organization that leads breakthrough solutions for researchers, brands, agencies, and media publishers. Welcome, Kevin.
Thanks very much, Angie. Glad to be here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for joining. So let's start by having you tell us a little bit more about your role and what you do at Disco.
Sure. So Disco is a CX intelligence platform for understanding every customer experience. And what's interesting about us is that we're truly a two-sided platform where we work directly and transparently with our members, our consumers, and of course, directly with our customers as well. So my role is to support all of our product management efforts for our customers.
Great. So Disco has been more well-known as a survey company, but your recent acquisition of Feedback Loop puts you more in the category of other customer experience providers. How does Disco see itself and how do you provide value to the advertising ecosystem?
Yeah, well, we want to provide value to the entire CX intelligence ecosystem. And we think, one way of doing that is through surveys, another is through ad measurement, and yet a third is through Feedback Loop. And so what Feedback Loop really does for us is make it easy for our customers to learn from their audience directly and very quickly. So where the traditional paradigm has been, hey, let's spend 2 weeks designing a survey and 4 weeks programming it and 4 weeks fielding it and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We want that to turn into minutes. And so whether you want to talk to your customers now or a few weeks from now, we can do that with all of the products we have at our disposal.
So can you talk a little bit more about how you get this consumer data? Is there an app, a website? Is this part of a publisher flow, or is it through email surveys? How do you go about collecting this information?
Yeah, so we work directly with our members through a brand that we have called Survey Junkie. And so we have a website, we have apps, and we bring our audience to Survey Junkie, and we go out of our way to make sure that we're sort of telling them what Survey Junkie is all about. It's about influencing the brands and publishers that you love. It's about getting value for the data that you share. And with that, we give them opportunities to take surveys, to share behavioral data, to share attitudinal data, you name it, and make sure that they get paid in return.
And so what do you mean by payment? So is that through a point mechanism, through cash?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so we want to make it as easy as possible for these members to cash out in a way that they feel that they want to. So we have gift cards. They earn points and they get gift cards. They can get direct payments into their Dwala account. They can there's a number of different ways that they can get that back. We want to make it fun and easy for them to participate.
Now, how do I'm sure you get this question all the time, right? So how do you ensure that the quality of the data and the way that users are responding is accurate? Is there, people, you said some of the motivation is monetary. So what what allows you guys to feel that there's enough trust in the data that can be leveraged?
Yeah, and trust is really important here, and it's it's important. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's a two-way street. We have to trust our members, and our members have to trust us. So we put all kinds of uh, multiple layers of defense into this system so that we can make sure that we are working only with the folks that really want to provide real, honest opinions that are not, bot farms in Bangladesh. And we go out of our way to really verify that these are real people. We send postcards to verified real address. We have multi-factor authentication. We have all kinds of fraud models. So we have a real belt and suspenders and then belt again approach to making sure we get high quality members into the system.
And what are the types of, customers that you have? Are they predominantly agencies, brands, publishers, ad tech companies?
Yeah, we play within all of those agents, all of those areas. So, I think where Disco has historically started was really in that survey and market research agency as a customer space, where we've really moved, particularly with our ad measurement product, is into the agencies, publishers, advertiser space, and Feedback Loop doubles down on that advertiser space as well. So we're working across the ecosystem from the ad tech infrastructure players to the big walled gardens to the advertisers and publishers.
So you said a key word there that obviously is of interest to me: measurement.
Yeah.
How are companies using your data or leveraging the information that they're getting from a measurement standpoint? Is there the ability to tie in offline behavior, in-store behavior, purchase intent, and all that fun stuff that marketers and looking for?
Yeah. So, the probably the most interesting thing about our measurement is that we, with the tools that we enable our consumers to use, they share their online behaviors with us directly, which means we can see the ads that they're getting across the ecosystem in the absence of cookies, which is a really cool thing and something a lot of customers value, is a single comprehensive cross-platform look at the way your ads are performing. And so we do that in two ways. One is, I'd say, relatively, this category has existed, which is brand lift. We started as a survey company. And so when we see that somebody is exposed to an ad, we can reach out and do all of the upper funnel familiarity, intent, awareness metrics that customers of brand lift have come to know and love. But I think what's also unique and differentiated is because our members are openly sharing their behaviors with us, we can also see what they did online after they saw an ad. And so, again, across the entire funnel, we can look at things like searches, like website visits, and of course, even like e-commerce transactions to understand what somebody does after they see an ad online.
Okay, so let's get into some questions around just general topics. I'd love your opinion on.
Right.
There's the industry, you're hearing, the term cookieless, deprecation third-party cookies, mobile identifiers, right? Privacy sandbox, obviously top of mind for a lot of people trying to figure out what the next phase of digital advertising looks like. So, and there's also this, notion that the industry is getting tired of the cookie is dead doomsday story, right? Do you think that fatigue is dangerous? And how worried do we really need to be?
Wait, are cookies going away or something?
I think so, but who knows? I mean,
yeah, no, it's so I do think there is a certain amount of fatigue, but that's an understandable fatigue. But it's also something I think every responsible advertiser and publisher needs to plan for. I think part of the issue here is that cookies were never a great solution. They were easy and they were scaled, but they have all kinds of flaws. And I think everyone who's been in this space long enough knows that. I mean, it's not a particularly accurate, well-loved, or easy to implement solution, but they're there. So I think the dangers are real. And if you're not, if you got your head in the sand, good luck. But I'd say the flip side is, they've moved the deadline once, so they can move it again. I think, I'm not going to bet no, but I think everybody needs to be ready for that.
And there's obviously this question around the consumer value exchange, building out consumer trust.
Yeah.
Where do you see, or what should companies be doing, right? And obviously, leveraging a company like yours that allows them to gain some insights with transparency, right?
Yeah.
Is top of mind. But what are the things that that most concern some of your customers, and how are you addressing them?
Well, everybody is really concerned about the regulations, of course.
Yep.
And I'd say regulations have two buckets. There's the laws, and then there's, what the platforms are choosing to do themselves. And what's true, what's common across every regulation is consumer consent. And to me, this is, the mom and dad test or your neighbor tests. If you're working with a company, if you as a consumer are working with a company and are giving your consent to do something, I don't think people have an issue with that. But I think there is a lot of consent being hidden under these, obscure companies that, 99 consumers out of 100 have never heard of. And so what we're trying to do is make it as obvious and transparent as possible. Because we think there's a ton of people out there. There's a huge market of people for whom a fair, honest, and transparent value exchange is a good deal. So we want to make sure first of all, that those consumers have a place to go, and second of all, that the publishers and brands have a way to connect directly to those consumers.
Now, do you think publishers, especially publishers, right, where there's this emphasis to build out their first party data, but I think that consumer insights and the stuff that you're doing is even more valuable. Do you see a shift towards paywalls, subscription walls, or is there an in-between?
Yeah. So first and foremost, paywalls don't scale. Like they certainly don't scale to the scope of the internet and to the, I think, promise of the internet that we've all come to love and enjoy. Which is not to say they're not going to happen and that they're not going to be more of them. I fully expect that will happen, but I don't think it's viable even for even for the sort of most privacy sensitive tier to subscribe to every site they visit on the internet. And so I think there has to be a model where we find a way to really enable both the folks that really do want to keep their data from being shared. Great. There's a path there for you, and it's paywalls, it's firewalls, it's all of those things. But I think the vast majority of people are very comfortable in a open and transparent exchange value.
Now, do you think there'll be like maybe take what you're doing, where consumers are being rewarded or being surveyed, in your case, after they're reading an article, if they're not logged in, but somehow through the value exchange that you guys offer, you see that increasing at all? And are you doing any content alignment with any of the content providers?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the notion, as you can imagine, brands, publishers, all of our customers are very interested in being able to reach out to a customer, to a consumer, and understand why they did something that they did. And so, we have the behavioral aspect that allows them to understand, here's an action. And then we have feedback loop and our survey product that allow us to really let our customers dive deep into the why behind their actions, and really get that, one-on-one feedback.
Okay, so when you're working with any one of your clients, customers, is there, I think, is the information that you're collecting on their behalf, does that go into some sort of aggregate pool that can be used in a general sense from a general vertical perspective, or is it specific to only them?
Yeah, no. This is very aggregated. We have a very large scaled panel, and so we end up in a world where we don't need to enable someone to speak with, for example, Angie. We need to enable someone to speak with someone who went to this website and did this thing, and so we have enough of those people that what we're doing is really enabling that connection, not introducing them in the truest sense of sharing PII.
Now, there are several other companies that do similar things than you guys, and there are different solutions being developed by also, companies that aren't necessarily your direct competitors. Can you talk about what are some of the other solutions being developed that you're seeing kind of evolving in this marketplace that you kind of like cringe a little bit and like I'm not quite sure that they should be going down that path? Not to name names though. But.
Of course. I guess I'll start by saying, we think this is a big opportunity, and so we expect to see more options, and we're going to pursue a lot of options as well, because we think we've sort of scratched the surface on how on creating a value exchange between the publishers, the brands, and the consumers. But I don't think we've done everything, and so we sort of welcome any solution that helps advance that cause, because we think that's important. Now, having said that, I think if you're looking for insights, if you're looking for something really representative of your customer, I think there's good ways to go about that, and then there's ways that have bias built right into the solution. And crypto is the example I'd give there. It's fascinating. I'm guessing they've in the last month or so, their members are doing a little bit less activity than maybe 6 months ago. But what we're trying to do is really find a scaled enough audience that allows our customers to find a representative customer set within that. And that's, I suppose, if you're a crypto company, then a crypto platform is a pretty good one for you.
I mean, I see so many useful use cases, right? From not only just gaining consumer insights, but developing cohorts, different audience segmentations, figuring out the user flow, creative testing. What are some successful stories that you've seen that have worked really well?
Yeah, I mean, we get excited about this as well. We really think the platform that we're building can answer questions for every customer touch point. And having said that, our challenge, and specifically my challenge as leading up the product management, is to find the products and the applications where we can be best in the world, and not say yes to absolutely everything you could do with our data, because it's a very long list. So I think where we're really excited, is first of all, ad measurement. We're the ability to see cross-platform, the ability to measure not only the attitudinal outcomes in brand lift, but also the true behavioral and outcomes lift among our member base is really exciting. We've seen some really fascinating success stories there, because it's so difficult to get one answer to how your ads are performing across channels.
And in terms of the types of data sets that are you providing, is it packaged in a report?
Yeah.
Are they able to download any of, I won't call it event level, but response data specific response data. How are they using that data? Or are they kind of
Sure.
overlaying it on top of their census
I'll, I'll
data?
I'll start with measurement because that's the example I was
Okay.
just using. And in that case, it's all, it's all fully aggregated. It's a dashboard. We have downloadable, again, aggregated Excel data to understand how various tactics performed, how various metrics performed, what are all the dimensions of media that you want to understand your performance by, et cetera. And on the within feedback loop, there's a dashboard where you can see all of the answers. You can see them aggregated. You can understand charts right away. And all of this happens live, real time as the answers flow in. And then, last but not least, we have our research product. And in the research product, you're not seeing individual users. There is no identification of an individual, but you do see their responses. And so you get a really good sense whether you're looking for 5,000 answers or completes or 500. You get to see them all.
And regarding, so the first thing that many companies will think about is the process. How long does it take from picking up the phone, talking to you, to getting a campaign activated? And are there different pricing structures in terms of what are the, if you can break down some of the services and capabilities
Sure.
of how you go out to market?
Yeah, so I'll start with feedback loop because as far as time goes, that's a really, really huge advantage and differentiation for feedback loop. We're literally talking about minutes until you're done with your survey. We've got built-in templates, we've got built-in analytics, we've got everything can be done in under an hour from start to finish. And what's nice about our ad measurement product, on the other hand, is because so many of the ads we're measuring are coming through our own panel and our own meters, we get to see those happen in the past and without any work from the client. So we need the client's help to identify which ads they want to measure, but we get to quickly go in and we do use tags when we need to, but we don't have to. And so we can start measuring from the moment that our client says they're ready to measure.
What do you see as far as in the next 6 months, maybe a year? I'll give you the year. What are some of the significant changes that you'd like to see happen in the next 6 to 12 months?
Oh, man. Well, obviously the biggest of those is, what happens in January 2023. And, what's interesting to me is I think regardless, what is clearly happening and has already begun happening is.
You mean as far as privacy regulations and stuff, or
yeah,
like the economy?
Oh, geez, the economy too. Yeah, is something happening with that? Yeah. So what I think is fascinating is in this economy, as the economy downturns, every dollar that anyone spends is going to get a lot more scrutiny. And so that's where we really think there's a massive upside opportunity to make sure that every ad dollar is spent wisely, to make sure that you're not, if you can get an answer in under 60 minutes for whether your product idea is a good one to launch or not, why not do that? All of these things become very easy, bite-sized, and value-oriented ways of making sure the dollars you're spending are spent wisely.
Great. So we're at the end, but any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'd love for the industry to really come together and find a way to not only honor the letter of the law, but to really figure out if they can pass the neighbor test and make sure that what you're doing under the guise of first party or even under the guise of third party is something you could look someone in the face, in the eyes across the table and tell them that's what you're doing with your data.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, especially given all the changes that are happening from a privacy standpoint with all the big tech companies. And, you see this proliferation of things like retail media networks. Consumers are more aware around what's happening with their data, and are looking for safe havens, if you will. And I think that companies like you guys offer an alternative for brands and agencies and publishers to look at building a relationship with those customers and making sure that there's trust regarding that data, and applying those methodologies. Panel data, probabilistic data, all are going to be more important as less data signals are available. But I do appreciate your time. Um,
Yeah,
I know you're a busy man, so
you too,
thank you
Angie.
very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Angie. Much appreciated.
Thank you. And then thank you for everyone for watching. Please see more episodes at iab.com/there for more IAB There episodes. I'm Angelina Eng, VP of Measurement and Attribution here at IAB.